So I don't know if anyone's watching this or how long you've been watching me if you're returning, but this channel, you guys, this channel of mine started almost a year ago. I think in 5 days, November 24th would be a year since I posted my first video to this YouTube channel. And this was about Julian Nagelsmann and his start to Germany, how it was less than ideal when we lost to like Austria and Turkey in November 2020, November 2023. In that video, I had talked to you guys about my issues with the Germany team at the time and what I believe the solution was. And you guys, I'm a humble dude, right? I'm a very humble person, but when I say this is one of my greatest W's, the things I said in that video, go back and watch it. If you at any time think I'm lying in this video, click out of this video, go to my videos, put oldest videos and watch that video. First video ever posted to this channel with my crappy Instagram thumbnails back then. I talked about the issues. I talked about the 2 quick solutions that he can make. And from there, I guaranteed Julian Nagelsmann that a lot of his issues would go away and a lot of the issues for this Germany team would go away. And I'm going to talk to you guys about the issues I brought up, every single point, and the solutions I brought up and how that has helped this Germany team. Because this year, this German team has grown so much. Looking at the beginning, January 2024 to now, November, December 2024, so much growth, so much more optimism about the German national team. The public in Germany care about the team so much more. There is more excitement. There is excitement. There is an excitement around the German national team that I haven't seen since 2018 World Cup. Since going into the 2018 World Cup, where a lot of people thought we were second, third, or maybe even the favorites for that World Cup because of how strong our squad was. Hindsight, we know what happened. But we're going to talk about it, and I just want to say, guys, I'm a humble guy, but sometimes when you're looking at genius, take it in. And I'm the genius, so take in my face. I showered just an hour ago. I'm eating my meal here in between videos, and let's talk about it. So a year ago, after those losses to Austria, after that loss to Turkey, these are the things I said. So I had 5 main issues with the team. Now, we could get into things about the federation, but about the team and the manager, Julian Nagelsmann, and everything, these were my issues. Number 1 was interim coach. At the time, because remember, when Julian Nagelsmann was appointed as the manager for Germany, there was a clause in his contract saying that he can go back to club football basically at the end of the Euros, because his contract was a 9-month contract that ended at the end of the Euros. And depending on how well he did at the Euros, he would either leave or get extended for World Cup 2026, right? And so that was my issue, because I was confident that even if Germany did do well at the Euros, that he would back off and go back to club football. I really thought Julian Nagelsmann, doing whether he took the team and won the freaking Euros or not, I really thought no matter what, he would leave after the Euros and go back to club football, because he's very young, 38 or 39, whatever he is, 37, 38, 39. International football will always be there for him. But I was wrong. I was wrong about this, but this isn't really an issue. This was just a worry. So I won't concede anything here, because it was just a worry I had. And I think I said in the video, I don't know if I did or not, I didn't watch the whole thing back, but I think I said we're going to have to wait and see. In the end, we did have a relative, in terms of Germany's historical standards, we at least want to get to semifinals and finals and win the damn thing. But relative to where Germany was at, the national team has been at, it was a successful tournament, and Julian Nagelsmann actually got extended for World Cup 2026. He will be the German national team coach until World Cup 2026. And I think for sure, guys, after that World Cup, Julian Nagelsmann will be back in the club football game as a 41-year-old manager. So this was a worry of mine, and the reason why it was a worry, because I thought, okay, what's the point of bringing Julian Nagelsmann in for 9 months? He builds a philosophy in this team, a style of play, chooses a core group of players that would show up to the national team camp and for everyone to get used to each other playing on this pitch, and then he just leaves and we bring a new manager and we have to start all over again. This was my issue, but the fact that we had a relatively successful Euros, and we were literally robbed in the Spain game. We should have won that game. And if we won that game, we probably would have won the whole thing. I worried that okay, well, so okay after Nagelsmann, what Jurgen Klopp will come in, and then we'd have to restart on who are the key players in this team. What is the style of play? Thomas Tuchel come in. Okay, we're gonna play defensive style. I wanted there to be a good period of time for this team to grow under one manager and become united under one philosophy of play and management style. And that's Julian Nagelsmann and assistant coach Sandro Wagner. So that was a worry. Ended up working out. He's here for World Cup 2026. So this is good. My second issue was Hansi Flick. Because I still maintain this, and the reason why I'm telling you guys I'm a genius because I'm right about this. I said in that video, Hansi Flick was never the problem for Germany. Now, yes, Hansi Flick after that World Cup, it was horrendous. Germany couldn't win games. We were getting dominated in games, easily conceded goals. But the reasoning I gave for you guys a year ago in that video was because no matter how good of a manager you are, the moment you get grouped from a World Cup, you lose confidence in the team. The team will not be the same, and your time is pretty much done. Would be pretty much done as the manager. And I think Hansi Flick, even though he was probably a good manager, had good ideas that the players follow, after a World Cup exit again in the group stage, I never thought Hansi Flick would recover. Now, interestingly, I think Hansi Flick one day will come back to this national team job because he has unfinished business, right? But I told you guys, Hansi Flick was not the problem because at that World Cup 2022, Hansi Flick set out the perfect team every single game. We created so many chances in all the games, and the reason why we got knocked out in the groups was because we did not put away our chances in that Japan game. We didn't, and for that we paid a very high price. Yeah, now yes, we went out on the finest of margins. The 1 centimeter that Japan scored the goal by that kept the ball in play. It was a harsh condition. I really think Germany was not bad to the point where I didn't think we deserved to be grouped. I really didn't think so. And Hansi Flick, that's why I didn't think he was the problem. And I thought, okay, with Julian Nagelsmann here, and after those 2 losses back then, will we potentially miss Hansi Flick? And were we too fast to fire him? Because I told you guys, a lot of people after that World Cup exit now started thinking Hansi Flick's trash. Oh, he just had a hot streak with Bayern those 2 seasons when he became manager, taking over after Niko Kovac. And I told you guys in this video, no, Hansi Flick is a world-class coach. He is probably the greatest coach, in my opinion, greatest coach manager of the 21st century. And Hansi Flick, look at him now as the Barcelona manager. He is literally in real time on his first try, first season Barcelona, learning Spanish with La Masia resources behind him, making 11. He has turned Barcelona into the best team in the world again, playing exciting football, using the La Masia players, all that talent, making Lewandowski, who people thought was finished, the best striker in the world again. I was right about that. Hansi Flick is still a quality manager. And, I didn't say necessarily Hansi Flick shouldn't have been sacked. I understood Hansi Flick's sacking. I wanted him sacked at the time because World Cup group stage exit, you're never going to recover. But I just wanted, my point in that video was people need to realize he was a good manager with in an unfortunate situation. So that's Hansi Flick. So I was on the money there. Squad unity. That was my big complaint a year ago. This team did not look like a team. You could have a team, 11 players on the pitch, eight guys on the bench. You could have a team and manager, but are you really a team? Are you really united for one goal, one cause? Is everyone playing for each other? Is everyone making runs for each other, covering for each other's mistakes? Playing with a coordinated press, believing in the coach. The squad unity was not there a year ago. Julian Nagelsmann now, 12 months later, this Germany team I haven't seen a Germany team this unified and playing as such a cohesive unit since Euro 2016. And Julian Nagelsmann has brought that. Squad selection. Something that was an issue with the German national team at the time. You guys, something we struggled with was Hansi Flick even was a victim of this. Jogi Löw calling up players that didn't deserve it, not calling up people based on merit, but calling up people based on reputation, and that was killing the national team. And Nagelsmann kind of fell into that trap at the beginning. 12 months ago, he was calling up players that didn't deserve to be called up. He was starting, the same mediocre starting 11s that we were used to seeing. But now, 12 months later, we'll talk about it, but complete change. So that was one of my issues, squad selection. And then Just Julian, my fifth point was that I called it the tactical in the video. I worried that what if Julian Nagelsmann tries to be this, exquisite, intrinsic, like complicated tactical manager in the international stage when that never works out. You need to keep international football simple, not too complex. And I was afraid that Julian Nagelsmann, his club tactical level of football, because he's a very knowledgeable football brain, very, very knowledgeable. To be so young, to have already coached Bayern and all that, very knowledgeable. I was afraid that he would overcomplicate things. So that was one of the worries I had. And then in that video, guys, the two solutions I had, it was two. It was only two. In response to those 5 issues I had, there was 2 quick and easy steps I said Julian Nagelsmann should make that would solve the issues in this team. The first one was fixing the squad, making it a meritocracy. You will play for Germany if you are playing well for club. I will not call you up to the national team. I said, Julian Nagelsmann, do not call up people to the national team anymore that don't deserve it at the time. They have to be informed. They have to be. Don't do it just based off reputation anymore. Do not. And I said, that's how you fix the squad. Make it a meritocracy. Because at the time, under Hansi Flick and at the beginning of Nagelsmann's time, people weren't being called up off merit. There were players that were getting snubbed for other players that didn't deserve to be in the squads. Gnabry, Zane, and these guys at the time did not deserve call-ups, and they 100% didn't deserve to be starters. But they were. They were. And so in this 12 months, what you have seen, ow, my elbow, what you have seen is that he's fixed that. He's made it a meritocracy. Zane, Gnabry, these guys are no longer guaranteed to get called up. Freaking Zane got called up these past 2 games only because Dennis Undav got injured. You know what I mean? Undav, you get injured? Oh, now look, Tim Kleindienst from Mönchengladbach scores 2 or 3 goals in this international window, putting his name in the hat. Bringing in players in form, giving them chances, right? And with that, when you fix your squad selection, when you fix and you bring people who deserve to be there and who are in form, they will respect you and they will go out there and fight to their biggest capacity on the field. And I think you saw this whole year, Julian Nagelsmann, always keeping it a meritocracy, never choosing just based off reputation. Never. And I think that has fixed a lot of things, because by doing that, like I just said, it fixes squad unity, because people are there because they want to be there, because they're in form. When you're in form, you're happier. If you're happier, the base camp when you're on international break is a lot happier. And I think you've really seen this German national team grow and become a unified unit, because people are called up based on a meritocracy. When they're called up, they're on good form. Chances are they're going to play well for the national team, and they're going to have fond memories of the national team and have a good time there. If you're playing well, you're happy. If you're happy, your squad is happy. And I think that, these are very speculative points I bring, but that it's all in the psychology of the game. There was a huge psychological issue with this German national team, and just fixing the squad, making a meritocracy, you establishing the fact that you have to deserve to be here, has just benefited this team big time. And then the other solution that I said would find, and this was the big one. The other solution that I said would solve most of your issues. This would help with squad unity. The fix the squad thing helps with squad unity, squad selection. By fixing the squad, also, let's go back to fixing the squad and making it a meritocracy. It eliminates that tactical side of Nagelsmann, because he is calling up players who are in form, and he's going to use them to the best of their capabilities. He's not going to try and bring some guy on the fringes that isn't in form because he thinks he could use him better and he could be a great system player for him. No, he makes it a meritocracy. So that fixes his tactical brain. That fixes the squad selection, and that fixes the squad unity. But the big solution I had talked about 1 year ago was finding your core group of players. Now, what does that mean? You pick your squad, right? Your 23-man, 25, 26-man squad. I get that. But what Hansi Flick, and this was the biggest complaint I had of Hansi Flick, he did not have a core. Jogi Löw, in his later years as German national team manager, did not have a core. Now, what does that mean? You have your squad of 26, but your core players are the players that are always called up because, first of all, they're always in form for their club national teams. So the players who are all for their clubs, I said club national teams, the core is the 8 or 9 players that always start in the team, that always star on the team. And what you saw with Hansi Flick, pre-Euros and now post-Euros, he is finding and establishing that core. Pre-Euros, the core was established. Manuel Neuer in goal, Joshua Kimmich right back, Rudiger and Jonathan Tah center back duo, Toni Kroos in the midfield with Andish. You had Musiala, Wirtz, and yeah, that's 8 players, right? And then Havertz was a core player because Havertz always started. So that's 9 players. He had 9 players. So the places for contention were striker, number 10 role, right wing, basically, and left back, where Mittelstadt and Raum were competing for that left back spot. Up top, you had Fulkrug battling Havertz for a starting spot. You had Musiala, Wirtz, and who would play on that right? Would it be Furish or whoever it was? You know what I mean? He had a core going into those Euros, and the big thing about the core is you could have those 8 or 9 players that always play, but you have to play them so that they get used to each other on the field, create that squad unity as a starting 11, and that over that by doing that, you get a cohesive unit that knows how to play with each other, that know how to get the best out of each other, and that know how to fight with each other on the field, no matter whether the situation is good, whether they're winning or they're losing, right? I think that's a really big thing. Also, Gundogan was part of that core. Gundogan was the number 10, I forgot. So the only positions that were um kind of up in air was left back and striker. That's it. He established his starting 11. Now, post Euros, he's now doing that. He has some things to figure out still, but Julian Nagelsmann is still doing that. Ter Stegen got injured, but Ter Stegen looks like he is going to be that starting goalie in World Cup 2026. Although I think Alexander Nubel and Baumann, if they play like they've been playing, they have a great shout. Bernd Leno, they all have great shouts, right? But let's just assume Ter Stegen, goalie, Kimmich, right back, Rudiger and Tah, again, still the center backs. Raum and Mittelstadt still battling for left back, so the left back position is still up for grabs. In midfield now, he was injured, but he has to figure out who is going to start with Andrich in the midfield. Andrich has a midfield spot. I do think between Pavlovic, Stiller, Pascal Gross, all these guys, they're going to fight for that midfield spot next to Andrich. In attack, Musiala and Wirtz and Havertz. 8 guys. There's a core of 8 right now Julian Nagelsmann has. When he is going to field his best 11, those 8 players will be on the field. Those 8 players will be on the field. So 3 positions are in contention. 3 positions. And that's healthy. You have a core that's used to each other playing on the field, and then you have people competing for spots. Obviously, in lower tier games, you give people chances. You play a B team like we did today against Hungary. And yeah, I'm just so happy. Those are my solutions. He literally followed those solutions, and look where Germany's at. We're ending 2024 off with 1 loss, and that was a robbery loss to Spain where it was literally admitted. The referees literally admitted we should have had that penalty, which probably would have ended up with us winning the game and probably winning the whole tournament. So the only loss this year was to Spain, and everyone thinks Spain is the best team in the world right now. Well, Germany literally outplayed them in that quarterfinal and was robbed of a penalty. So what does that say about us? It says a lot, and it says a lot about what Julian Nagelsmann has done in 2024, him and Sandro Wagner taking this team to the next level. And I really am so optimistic about this team. I actually get excited to watch this team every time they're playing. And I really have a lot of trust in Sandro Wagner and Julian Nagelsmann to take this team in the right direction and keep doing what they're doing. Especially the way Julian Nagelsmann gets Florian Wirtz and Jamal Musiala to play with each other on the same field as starters. Let's keep it real. Havertz as a number 10, which I didn't agree with initially, it looks like a brilliant move with Wirtz and Musiala. And then having Füllkrug, Kleindienst, or whoever battle for the striking position. His ideas are coming to fruition. He's keeping it not too complex, made it a meritocracy, playing his core group of players, building squad unity. And I think this Germany team, in a year and a half time when that World Cup comes around, I will be very excited And Julian Nagelsmann should be very optimistic about where he's taking this team. You guys, Ismail Kagepuya, Germany are back. We're freaking back. 4-time World Cup champions, 3-time Euro champions. Soon we will reclaim the #1 spot in international football. Julian Nagelsmann, Jamal Musiala, Florian Wirtz. They will take us there. It's been your boy Hokage Puya. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.